Welcome to Bet Doctor. It's a somber day in here. We've lost a soldier, a warrior, Big Red. Bet Doctor's a unique look into the world of professional punters. It's a behind the curtain look, but we've lost a soldier today. I've got DK with me.
No, very, very, very grim here. It wasn't grim enough already, Scoot, with his lockdown lunacy. And now we've got a man down with Walt, but well, thinking of you, Big Red. Anyway, hello, Nico.
Nico Noonan joins us.
Yeah, we're here, boys. Bit of a sad start to the show with Walt, but 6 months, no time. He'll be back. He'll be back, punters.
We're thinking about having a 25-second silence for each bet that he's placed. So will we bother with that? There's a picture of the great man. For those watching the show, there's some just a bit of a shot there of Walt from his last little video hookup, and we're going to show the charges, I guess, that have been put up against him. We'll put a photo of that on Racing New South Wales. But basically, Walt's been disqualified for 6 months. He's cooperated fully. He's forced to step aside. He can't operate Racing Watch. He stepped down as jockey manager Tim Clark and Josh Parr, which has been on the cards for a while. It's no secret. Ty England's come out. And he's now not allowed to bet or profit directly or indirectly from racing. So shares in horses that he's got can't do anything. He's basically banished into Siberia.
Siberia, that's right.
And he'll appeal, as far as I know. And I'm not sure why he hasn't copped a fine here. He's stepped away from his job in the game, so I just don't know what they're going to achieve by banishing the bloke for 6 months. It doesn't make much sense.
It sounds like to them, they're saying, 6 months, we're doing you a favour, giving you 6 months.
Yeah.
You've got a good record, you've fully cooperated, this and this. That's why we're only giving you 6 months. Please. It sounds like Van Gestel wanted to give him 18 or something like, and we sat here with the bloke for down the bulldozer, and he took us through the whole thing.
Yeah.
He did absolutely fully cooperated.
He did.
They basically had nothing
thing
without what he gave them.
Exactly.
And he's copped 6 months. It's just racing in North Korea. That's what happens.
Well, you see Bob Baffett. The news has just broke with Bob Baffett. He's doped the Kentucky Derby winner, which is the equivalent of the Melbourne Cup, and he's copped 2 years. And Walt's had a couple of bets, and he's got done for 6 months. It's just something that doesn't add up.
It's a first offence for Bob Baffett either. He's got
and
a history.
he'll be welcomed after the 2-year ban. He'll be welcomed with open arms back into the sport. Whereas Walt, that's probably the end of Walt from a jockey management point of view. It's hard, it's almost impossible to come back from something like that. What did Melbourne get? 10 months or 5 months?
I think 8.
Yeah, 6 or 8.
6 or 8. I think he got 8.
And the thing that I can't cop with Walt's suspension is trainers. So trainers are still allowed to bet. They give jockeys instruction. We just had this hullabaloo about riders' agents not being allowed to give instruction. There's all this talk about Dean Lester, Mark Hunter, Walt, and all these people that manage jockeys. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So if I'm Chris Waller, if I'm any trainer or Holbert or whoever it is, or Robbie Heathcote, he tipped everyone into his winner, Emerald Kingdom. It was $81 into 21 or 30 and bounced back out to $34. So Robbie's allowed to tell the jockey how to ride the horse. He's allowed to bet, but can't have the jockey manager do it. And what about me? I'm an owner. So if I say, okay, well, Simon, I want you and Ronan to take Britannicus to the front instead of hooking it out the back, and I think that's a better tactic. As an owner, I can bet.
Yeah, but you're not allowed to do that anymore, eh? Didn't they make?
I can bet. I just can't lay it.
No, you can't give instructions though. Didn't they just bring in? Remember a couple of months ago? Didn't they say, we've got to streamline things? The owners aren't allowed to give instructions. It's got to go through the trainer.
Please.
Something like that. Or the jockey managers aren't allowed to give instructions.
Well, I'm going to take the horse off Simon.
I mean, it's just.
Well, at the end of the day, like if you're an owner and you give a trainer a suggestion, say, I think we should do this, and the trainer's like, that's a good idea. Well, what's the difference if they just roll with it and give the instructions? So, it does seem a bit of an odd rule, but we'll bat on, I suppose.
It's an absolute witch hunt. And Racing New South Wales, they just need to pull their socks up. It just seems like anyone that goes within a skerrick of being able to win, they basically just try and run you out of the sport. It's
seen
crazy.
It in the past, so they're taking on the racing rank guys and all that. I mean, Van Gestel's got a history of this sort of stuff. Against any punting or any criticism or anything. It's just it's just
blackball.
I'd say he's had Walt in the gun and for a while, and how can we get him? We'll get him on this, and here we'll go for him.
Here's a gotcha.
On the smallest thing, we'll go. Yeah.
How was your week or weekend on the punt, DK?
Oh no, not great, Scoot. I think, as I said to your son in your pre-show, I think that going into lockdown probably affected me. It wasn't great for me. I had memories of the last lockdown, which wasn't great for me, Nico. mentally and stuff like that. So I probably had a few bets in the last week, which I wouldn't have again if I had my time over, which is always in hindsight. If they get beat, you say that. I'd say you had a winner yesterday, which maybe in hindsight you probably might have got away with.
Yeah, exactly.
So you sort of learn. Had a horse drop the mic. I tipped it. It got late scratching. I didn't tip it on Saturday. Well, it's pissed in, So, so probably not apologising to my subs, but fresh month, new month, eye back on the ball, got my head around lockdown and things like that, and we'll be right, Scooty.
I think you still won 10 units for the month.
Yeah, no, had a strong month.
Yeah,
had a strong month. Yeah, no, happy with the month. Just would have been nice to brush home. We've just come to a bit of a halt towards the end of the month, and a couple of ordinary bets, horses who were. I'll tell you what I fell into, Nico, is I fell into horses. Second up, so they jumped out really well. First up runs were fair, and then they're second up, and I'm saying, well, I'll go back to what they did at the jump outs.
Yep.
But they ran how they ran first up, rather than
Poor.
I've taken the jump out form over the raced form, and you really got to lean to the raced form,
Yeah, 100%. So, like that Magnetic Dash, that was probably a good example of that, second up at the 1400. But the key point was that the market was with it there.
The problem was there is that I didn't have that track as testing as I should have.
Yep.
Mick D got off the first winner, and they said, "How's the track, Mick D?" And he said, "This is the last meeting of the season. This is a very tired track. It's had some rain on it. It's even tougher than what it would normally be. So it's racing, really testing." Now that horse was second up off 1,000 metre race, and I'm like, oh, yeah, sure enough, 100 to go, knocks up.
Yep.
So it's just, so just little things like that. And then I backed a 10 to 1 chance in that race, and something just like Vainley, did what Vainley did there the other mean, just couldn't get round the turn. Couldn't get round the turn. I'm noticing there's a few of the tight tracks. Mildura the other day, about 10 horses never got round that turn. And Cranbourne, so Artisan Lass just crabs around the turn, gets checked on the turn, then straightens up and just charges late, gets beaten after. So look, these things happen,
Fletch had one of those at Gawler yesterday. There was a horse that sort of loomed into the race and then was completely off balance around the turn at Gawler, and then it comes again at the line at a big price. It's just sickening.
It's with lightly raced horses, but Vainley was a prime example. Vainley was off the map, moral at Cranbourne 2 ago, and Selene, it just couldn't get round the turn at all. Goes to the big flat deck yesterday and runs terrific.
Nearly won there at Sandown yesterday. Yeah. So, it's interesting to see sort of those sort of tracks at the moment and how they're playing, and coming into deeper into the winter months, sort of how these tracks are going to play. We've got a bit of synthetic racing, sort of.
Yeah, well, at least the synthetic tracks are quite spacious, Ballarat and Pakenham. Whereas, I've just noticed, even doing the videos at Mildura the other day, I thought Mildura was pretty, because it's got a nice big straight, but obviously the turn's quite sharp.
Turn.
And a lot of horses were hanging around the turn, and I thought, lightly raced horses to be fair, but, just little things that we note,
Plaquette was good, Ollie. He sort of sat 3 wide, and it was a good win.
We gave him the rev up, didn't we? And I think that was maybe his best for the day.
We wasn't sure after race 1.
Yep.
Set the sails. I don't know, it just wasn't good enough, was it?
Average.
Yeah, I think he really brought his A game there for Plaquette. Rode Ride and Rose later in the day. So
it went good, didn't it?
Yeah, it went
nice
enormous.
horse.
So
the rev up worked.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe we got to get back into him this week. And
I think it is the jockey of the week who we have to get up and who's got a good book. So
we potted Carleen 2 weeks ago. She came out and rode a double. We potted Ollie, rode a double. So
who was in the go? Who are we tipping this week?
No, I don't know yet. But Over the Sky, one of the bulldozer heroes. Gee, he hung on. How did he hang in there?
Well, I listened to the post-race interview with Mark Zari. I think he kind of said that the horse just waited for him.
He said stop.
Yeah, so I think he's the kind of horse who just got to the front and thought, job done here. And then the other horses, obviously showed a bit of fight and kicked back on him. But, I think they're maybe sort of looking at a gear change next start. They might go the visors or something instead of the hard blinkers, so he can see a bit more. Maybe even the winkers for that horse. But he's very smart.
How do you approach that post-race wise, Nico? Because if that was probably me, I would think I got away with one there. Because with the avalanche of money for Smoke and Romans, and they're all blue and white, was so far back, and then it's just savaged the line like the market said it would. And, I know Over the Sky's a nice horse and was in there, but I'd probably go, well, I got away with one there, I don't know. Do I go looking, why did I miss Smoke and Romans, or is there a reason
I knew they'd come for Smoke and Romans, to be honest.
Okay, so you knew that.
Assessment. I was not surprised at all that he started favourite. I kind of thought there was a chance he could lead, and
that's right.
I mapped him. And I thought, well, if the market sees this, they'll find this horse with the claim Cartwright's riding pretty well, Melbourne. So I think he might have got sort of bogged down by instructions to go back potentially. And then Jamie Carr and Mark Zahar, they've just taken the race.
Front of him.
They've gone straight to the front. Jamie Carr's led on acceleration. He usually sits back. So, we probably did get away with one there. We had a sick day yesterday at Sandown.
So you needed, okay. So
a lot of seconds. Started with a $6 winner in the first, and we ended the day with Over the Sky, but in between was just a very torturous few hours.
As the great game is.
It happens, but it turns around quickly. Something that's turned around the last couple of weeks is Fletchy boy. He had 2 double-digit winners on Sunday, and then he's dropped a $17 winner that was backed into $9. So woke up to some good news. Yeah, I've always loved Hong Kong, but Fletch makes it easy. So I keep saying it is one of the best value packages that we've got.
It's the ultimate bet and forget, isn't it? Hong Kong racing, you put them on, go to bed, wake up, chocolates, start the day on a high.
I think the only blemish I had on Sunday was Manly Sea Eagles, and Fletcher's 2 double-digit winners just erased all that pain. And even though I backed a couple of losers yesterday, I just woke up this morning and all the damage that I'd done personally had been erased from this $17 winner. So absolutely on fire, Fletcher's stuff. I keep saying it, but just try it. And you just bet and forget and go to bed. But big hat tip this week to Racing Queensland. They've upped the MBL. So finally, as soon as bookmakers put up prices, you can now get the minimum bet limit. So that'll start from July 1. So it's good to see that Racing Queensland is finally looking after punters. It's absolutely pivotal that that happens, and it's good that they're starting to follow suit and everyone's sort of waking up to how vital these smart influencers are in the market. You can see how much influence someone like DK has. He tips out a horse, it absolutely goes crackers, and that just... It spurs on more turnover and creates different opportunities for different runners. So it just stimulates the market. It needs to be said. Today's show, we've got Beat the Bagman. He's our Marcus Bontempelli. He's leading the Brownlow, and especially now that Walter has been sidelined. Who knows for how long? Hopefully we can get him back on the show. He went through the appeal process, but Beat the Bagman, it's his Brownlow to lose on Bet Doctor, so he'll do a couple of races. He's fresh off a holiday. And then Nico's going to do a couple at Flemington, and DK. There's a bloke on Twitter that just wants DK, a DK segment every week. So it's back now. We've given Sydney a week off. Yeah, in some sort of form of protest. So we'll try and get a Sydney segment next week, but we're a little bit peeved with what's happening on Racing New South Wales. So let's go have a look at Pakenham, a nice little fillies and mares maiden on Friday. On tomorrow, we're going to race 2. We've got odds courtesy of TopSport on the screen now. The GG Engineering fillies and mares maiden synthetic. I love that DK's now starting to play in the synthetics too.
A few meetings in.
The favourite here is Darugal Diamond, 320 to 270. Francie Girl, 290. Cameretta 6 to 7, and Afternoon Tea $11. The replay that we're going to have a look at is Francie Girl at Cranbourne on May 14, and let's see her rattle to the line. I think it's in the mixed price colours, DK.
Yeah, correct. Yep, she's out the back there, so giving them a start, giving some nice horses a start too. This Peter Moody thing in front was heavily backed. Kieran Marr thing, nice horse coming up outside it, and I think a Jason Warren thing, that Luna Cat, it lets rip really well late. These are 2-year-olds on a testing track. They got home in good splits, and just love the way this Francie Girl builds her revs late on a sort of tightish track. That was 1200 on debut. So she goes from Cranbourne there to this 1400 fillies and mares maiden on the bigger track. I love that. So she's up in distance off that run because she was just building her revs. She got through the line there. First thing here is she's a 2-year-old against the older mares. So massive tick this time of year. We love that. Can tell everyone about it because Jules Valance has told the whole world about it. So no hiding that as an edge anymore, Nico. So that's default position number 1. What are the 2-year-old fillies in the race? She was 1. Okay, what's she done? She's hit the line there, lovely on debut. Like I say, she's got upside. That's why they got the edge this time of year because they've got upside. Okay, they're lightly raced. They're coming against horses who are rising 4, 5, whatever. And they're the ones with talent in the bank. We'll get what else have I got to say? I can talk about the opposition here. So this is a promise. So she's Darugal Diamond's favourite there. So Darugal Diamond is a none from 15 rising 6-year-old mare.
Nonny.
Well, not Nonny. And what it did do though is put in a big run first up, like a massive spike run first up, peak. Like best career run, first up at start 16 or something, you know. So in my opinion, I can only see it regressing, you know. It was in a 4-year-old plus maiden, and it comes back. Look, the beauty of this, I think we'll get a prize fancy girl and it'll get out. One, because the ratings people won't be able to see past that last start rating of Darugal Diamond. The rating, it's got a great rating. It's run the best figure. And two, Francie Girl's got Liam Reardon on, whose stats wouldn't say that's great. So it's got a barrier 9. But he'll just have to come out, follow Darugal Diamond, and the way she let rip there, she'll run past it. Camaretta's in the race. Camaretta's third pick. $750,000 yearling filly. And it's a goat. It's in its third prep. They're obviously just desperation to get a win to send it to the breeding barn. So they got Malum on. They bashed it to the line in a recent trial at Flemington. Like dead set, it was under the bat in an 800-metre trial. So it's, you know, that it would be trying to find the weakest role, 1,400-metre fillies and mares on a poly on a you know, find the weakest race possible.
Friday, winter.
Yet it runs in. The only thing they don't want to run into is these 2-year-old filly up and comers. You know.
Yep.
So Darugal Diamond's none from 15. Camaretta's a goat. There is good connections, I will say, but I think the other one there's one other 2-year-old filly in the race called Gonna Dance a Lot. Had one run, completely inconclusive in a Blue Diamond Prelude or something. Got beaten 100 yards. Gone to the paddock. Comes back here over 1,400 resuming, but just looks a bit of intent with MD on. It's going to be big odds because it's run last. It's only start. So I'd say if you're backing one 2-year-old filly, you want to be saving on the other. What else? Anything else? I've got something else to add here. What was it? That's it. Francie Girl is dual accepted in Adelaide. Over only 1,250, and it's $17 chance. So Mick Price, please, you know, take it all the way there at $17, or you can run here where it's 2-1 and very well placed and can get the chocolates.
I was actually there that night at Cranbourne and was there sort of working, but also just having a look at the yard. And that race really caught my eye. Like a few of those fillies in that race, Getting Moody, the Ma Eustace filly that actually won the race.
They're nice types. They're nice
they
types.
could be sort of nice. They're not very nice types. They sort of very just much stood out. The Ma Eustace filly she was an exceptional type. So I think that does look to be a strong form race. And at this time of the year, like those 2-year-old races in the bush, we're seeing it on Saturday. Like sometimes that form can be really strong, even though it's provincial grade. Like that could be a metro standard race in time. So
and it was only run at a sort of gentle tempo the first sort of 600 or whatever. So and then they've sprinted home good sections, so they can improve off that. Where Darugal Diamond's coming out of race, they ran a long in, was set up to run some time, and I think it can only go backwards. So look, I think Liam Reardon's not exactly setting the world on fire. Barrier 9. They might say, it's going to map a bit tricky, but all he's got to do is just stay out of trouble, let it balance up and hit the line. But that might mean, you know, hopefully we'll get a price. I still think she'll round them up.
Well said, gentlemen, and well assessed. You can see why DK out wide sets are going absolutely bonkers, and you can see why Nico Noonan's mounting yard mail goes off too. These guys know exactly what they're talking about, and they cross-reference what they see with their eyes with puntingform.com.au. They've just now released this lane and barrier data, along with jockey and trainer data, so it's new offering in the sectional pro form subscription. So if you don't want to listen to these boys and do it your own way, for $2.97 a month you can, so make sure you check out puntingform.com.au. We're going to take a break, and we've got Marcus Bontempelli. We've got Shane Adair, Beat the Bagman, up next to talk Adelaide racing. Welcome back to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host Scoot. We've got DK and Nico Noonan in studio, and it's time to talk Adelaide racing with our man Beat the Bagman, who's looking very, very fresh off a bit of a holiday. And tell you what, he's got the sharp haircut too. He looks about 10 years younger. How are you, Bagman?
G'day, guys. I heard Marcus Bontempelli being bandied around during the week. I think someone from the Mangatang B grade is probably more of a likely player to fit my punting skills.
No, you're absolutely on fire, and we're about to ship across the Little Birdie lagers, so don't worry about that. You'll be drinking Australia's finest beer, and Little Birdie Lager, race 6, we started to sponsor one over there, Little Birdie Lager Handicap over at Morpheville.
Hey?
No, it's the Furphy handicap, but I'll just set a little bit of a Furphy there. So Little Birdie Lager, we'll start sponsoring races soon. We're not that far away, but we've got the odds courtesy of TopSport on the screen now. And Hypersonic has opened up favourite here at race 6 at Morphettville over Hard Landing 440. Brahmavi Vihiro $6. He's a bolter.
He's a bolter. Yeah.
$8.50. Oh, cha-ching. That was the last tip, the Bagman tip.
Oh, yeah.
A couple of weeks ago on the show, so very kind to us, that horse, free of debt, $9.50, Miss Jane, $10, and Larimer Street still going around $13. We're going to have a quick look at the Brahmavi Vihiro replay of its last start. I think it's in the white and red. Bagman, talk us through why you like this horse.
Yeah, I've noticed I've come on here tipping 2 Jacob Opperman runners this week. It's DK's stamp of approval there from the rider, so we might be getting a Jacob Opperman statue out the front of the Bet Doctor Studios after this weekend. Well, this is Brahmavi Vihiro at Flemington last start. I thought it was really good on pace here. This is an open class sprint, and I think the key to this runner today is back to the parks, benchmark 76. 1,000-metre record is really good. And that 3 kilo claim, as I said, for Jacob Opperman brings him really well in the weights. 3 starts back, has won a benchmark 78. In impressive style. The start after that, it ran, there was definite excuses behind Savitur XL and Pandemic, which is excellent form lines now. And obviously that Flemington run, which was full of merit in a level that was a little bit above what today is. And, around that $6 quote, I think it makes a very good each way bet.
Good.
Sold here. Believer.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you? The form Bagman's in. Just on the subject of apprentices, while you're there, Bagman and Nico. And he's just saying there that the 3 kilo claim will help over the 1,000, but it is, in my opinion, it's more beneficial the further they go and the longer they've got to carry the weight. Now, the Kieran Maher stable, the way they're using this boy Josh Richards on these horses, staying horses, one-paced horses who got stamina, strong, that the claim clicks in late in races, 6 from 12. Do you know that? 6 from 12 they are. They went $25 winner yesterday. Wow. 2 at Cranbourne the other night. All sort of middle distance sort of horses.
Just bringing up all the pain, isn't he? Yesterday, Chaska just running.
I played in that race. My horse was in front of the 200.
Same.
Were you on Sonanica?
No, I was on, what was his name? Wasaka.
Wasaka. Oh, you real bean. And then
so just right on the post, Chaska just got us there. Back Brahmavi Hero last start, so they just all bring it up here, the boys.
Yeah, but anyway, I was saying it's just it. There's on kids, I love talking about apprentices and the way that they're very smart in the way they're using him, Kieran Maher, and 50% strike rate on a small sample. Anyway, back to you, Bagman.
I tell you what, Bagman, Opperman's been on fire. Every time I look up at the screen, there's a couple of. It just seems like he gets a double-digit winner or multiple each week.
Yeah,
I think DK hit the nail on the head in that last segment. It's intent from the stable as well. It may not be that weight claim will kick in, but they're doing everything possible to sort of set this horse up for a high rating run.
And I just see Brahmavi Vihiro has just flucked off $6 into $5.50. So someone's listening. Maybe our AV guys just knocked the price off.
Someone's chimed in. Beautiful.
Borco.
This is a pretty fascinating race, actually, because like a horse like Octane got back to somewhere near sort of his best form last start, running second, completely in the wilderness before that. He's a really good sort of 1,000-metre horse.
He was on his last chance there.
Yeah,
I heard
exactly.
Tom Stokes after that race.
This Hard Landing is... I did the form on this horse the other day and they scratched him. This is a very interesting horse for mine. A colt, early days, by All Too Hard out of Snitzerland. We know how good she was. I think she won a Coolmore Stud Stakes down the straight in a very...
She got beaten.
You reckon they could have found a better stallion than All Too Hard for
very
would you?
well-performed filly. So he's obviously a bluebird, this horse. He won a stakes race as a 2-year-old. I think he won 2 races as a 2-year-old, actually. Now he comes back this preparation. He used to be this fast, squibby, speedy thing that would just get out in front and lead his jump outs by like 8 lengths. Now they've gelded him. He sat back sort of in his recent jump out compared to, he still was up there on the speed and found the line. I think it's very interesting setup for that horse there on Saturday. Do you have any thoughts there, Bagman, Hard Landing?
Yeah, I'm following in there, Nico. I thought it had a real chance as well. I think the parks will really suit its racing style, being able to sit up on the speed. I think a horse like Octane as you said, it was better last start, but the Parks is not a style of track. It's going to get back and wide, and it's really a low percentage play. Those horses that get back and really need to circle at the Parks. They need to get on their bike, turning for home. And look, I think if you're going to ride back in the field, you're better off probably coming inside horses and riding for a little bit more luck. So Octane I'll be against in the market early days.
Okay, so hard landing, definitely the danger there, but we're all cheering and investing on Brahmavi for hero. Let's have a look at race 8, the David Thomas Memorial Handicap, 1550 metres here, odds courtesy at TopSport. Australia's biggest betting bookie, highly discreet, 460 into 420, Pearl Band at 480, Going Gaga, $6, Peloton, $7, Robe Bay, $8, and we're going to have a look at the last start replay of Peloton in the Heathcote colours.
Yeah, certainly is. This is Peloton first up this day at Murray Bridge. Look, probably not much of a replay to really watch, in all honesty. It's gunned out the gates, sat wide on speed and pretty much knocked up in the straight. I think it'll be a lot fitter for that run. And a mile on the Parks, being able to settle up on the speed is right in its wheelhouse. It's got DK's boy riding again, another 3 kilo claim, brings it right in at the weights. If you go back through this horse's form, it hasn't done much wrong since arriving from New Zealand at the Michael Hickmott Yard, including a excellent run in the Balaclava Cup. You saw it over there during Cup Week in a race where Ben Melham absolutely cooked it. And I think second up, on the Parks, it's going to be awfully hard to beat, and I thought it was the best each-way bet on the card at around the $8 quote.
$7 with TopSport. Nico, you going to say something?
Yeah, like Bagman sort of brought up his best form. He's running the Balaclava Cup, and his form leading up to that, he just looked like a very progressive horse. I remember doing the form on him when he came to Melbourne and thought, gee, this horse has a bit of talent. And those horses that race on speed over those shorter trips, sort of their first and second up runs before they get out to suitable distances, they can look a lot worse than what they actually are. Like, this is the kind of horse, he races up on speed, doesn't have a huge sort of turn of foot. So when those horses just sprinted in that 1,200 metre race, like Octane has an enormous turn of foot, so does Too Good, Too Hard, and to only be beaten, 3.5, 4 lengths there, stepping up in trip, gets our boy Opperman. I can see why Bagman's found this, and I wouldn't be surprised if the market maybe latches on here as well, giving you a go forward.
Yeah. Very good. Just on Bagman, this race named after David Thomas. There's been a big outpouring there. He was very important in South Australian racing.
Yeah, certainly everyone who had contact with DT is full of praise. Wonderful guy. I had just a little bit to do with him. Really helpful, gave everything to the industry, and a really sad loss to SA Racing and racing in general.
Okay, mate. Well said.
So condolences to the family there and SA Racing and anyone that's doing it tough about that. But Bagman, fantastic analysis there, mate. I think you've found a couple of great plays there. I'll be definitely steaming in, and the Little Birdie Lager will be on its way ASAP. I'll tell you what, with this lockdown scenario, I might just get in the car and drive it myself, and I might stay there. I might be a fugitive on the run, Dr. Richard Kimball-esque.
That's the tip next time, isn't it? As
soon
as
just,
there's any
just
sign,
get on the run.
Get out of the joint.
We might have to start a camp somewhere. Just go to Eagle's house.
All the blokes who are too smart or the Gold Coast over there. Yeah, Eagle's house.
At least they got a lot of wine in South Australia.
Casa del Eagle.
We'll just get a house in Oakbank.
Well, that is the only upside. The only reason to stay. This is the best red wine drinking climate nearly in the world in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Fire on, red wine. Otherwise you'd be dead set out of here.
How'd the dumplings treat you last night, DK?
Good, mate. Yeah, good. Except there was a little, the chicken and lemongrass, or maybe we might avoid them next time. They seem to give them a go.
Wide berth.
Yeah, wide berth, no spoil. But the ginger prawn and the, what else do we have last night? A few different bits and pieces.
The Asian selection. It was very Japanese.
There's the tip. When you go out for yum cha, they've got this thing called siu mai, which is a pork-like thing. That one's got a seafood one in it. It's got 100 yards on the pork one's grouse. So in the steam selection, the little one in the middle, the seafood siu mai, magnificent.
What's your favourite winery, Bagman, over in Adelaide? What are you tipping?
Sorry, I'm just scrambling writing all these dumpling ideas down at the moment, Skeet. Look, we've got too many to choose from. I'm originally from McLaren Vale, so wine runs through my veins. I'd tip anything down the McLaren Vale region, guys, if you're looking for a getaway.
Outstanding stuff.
So good over there. Like South Australia, I've been been to McLaren Vale and Wine, been to the Clare Valley, been over to Port Lincoln. It's just for wine lovers, it's just paradise over there. Especially day trips out of bloody
it's not far
Adelaide
away. It's
or
only
something.
half an hour out.
Jump on a bus and get up to the McLaren Vale for the day is just magnificent.
We're going to be landlocked for quite some time, so make sure you check out Adelaide. Hopefully we get some bit of a sponsorship through Adelaide Tourism. We're happy for extra sponsors on the show. We'll give them all a bit of a plug. But thanks for joining us, Bagman, and good luck on the weekend.
Thanks, guys. Hope we have some luck over the weekend. Cheers.
See you, mate.
I'm sure we will. All right, if you're betting this weekend, make sure you bet with a bookmaker you can trust. The Millhens have been in the game for 35 years. They're the biggest betting bookie, so take them on this weekend. They will let you on. We'll take a little bit of a break and we'll come back and we'll talk headquarters. We'll talk Flemington with Nico Noonan. Welcome back to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host Scoot. We've got DK and Nico Noonan with me, and it's time to talk Flemington. We're back at headquarters. How bloody good is that? Perfect tonic for lockdown. And the first race we're going to have a look at here is race 4, the VRC member sprint over 1,100 metres. The members won't be there, and I'll tell you what, memberships everywhere. I don't reckon you're getting much value out of those. I'm an MCC member, and I've barely been there for the last couple of years. So hopefully they can get us out of this lockdown and get the kids back to school, I reckon, DK. Let's have a look at the prices here for the 1,100 metre sprint. Odds courtesy of TopSport. So knee, $4.40. Commands a field $5.50. Invincible Caviar sounds enticing there. Sistine Explorer $7.50, Argentia $8, and Pandas Post $10. We're going to have a look at a jump out. Nice insight here from Nico Noonan. Invincible Caviar's jump out. Is it a black caviar?
Yep, out of black caviar by
I'm Invincible.
I'm Invincible. Sorry,
the blue blood. What a blue blood!
This is it. Jumps straight to the front in the red colours, and I think a lot of the early market push against this horse. This horse went up $3.50 and got out to $6. Is because she ran no time in this jump out. But look how slow they're going early. Like, she's dead set in second gear here, punters. What I really did take note of is I think Brian Higgins rode her in this jump out. He's on there on Saturday, and just when he asked her to extend it, hasn't sort of happened yet. Interesting enough, the horses in behind her, a few of her stablemates and a few of Philip Stokes' horses. So with these Pakenham jump outs, sometimes they can just race against or jump out against horses that no good. But this trial seemed to be all right, or jump out. Look at her come away from him here when he actually asked her for an effort.
Have given her a good hit out too.
Giving her a solid hit out.
Like,
and this
teach her to find the line.
Straight line speed, which is what she's going to have to do down the straight. This is a very sort of similar situation to what she's going to face there. I love the way this horse extended in her action there. Looks really strong in behind, and as you could see, for that first sort of half of the jump out, she's really settled, she's really relaxed, she's happy to go slow, and then once he let her go, she just absolutely powered away from him. Personally, I think the price they went up early was the right price. I think $3.50 was probably fair. I reckon there's a lot of spruik around her early horses, Black Caviar, Osietra, Prince of Caviar, and they kind of didn't live up to it. So for mine, this is probably the best of any of them have jumped out, definitely. And I think the market and the early punters have sort of gone the wrong way here. They've sort of looked at the case studies before and gone, oh, maybe they're not too good. Moods has come out and said this one, I think they're just keeping her under wraps. I really do.
Well, that wasn't under too much wraps there.
Well, I think that's the key jump out to say, well, this horse obviously has ability. You know, he's come out and said, well, we can gather she's not no good. She's got some ability. They've already said in sort of reports that I've read and articles that this filly reminds them the most of the mum. And I think just looking at her sort of in the way she's built, definitely in behind. Like Black Caviar had a huge hindquarter, a huge rump. This horse looks like she's similar in that sort of action, doesn't she?
Isn't this the sort of race that Black Caviar kicked off in too? Like 1,000 or 1,100 down the straight?
Yeah, 1,100. Had Jared Nosk aboard.
Jared Nosk, yeah.
Higo goes aboard here. He rode her in the jump
rider.
out. Dead set. This could be a sit and steer job. I really think that. She should be shorter. The horses coming out of the maidens. Sawam was good at Geelong. They've got to go 1140 back to 1,100 metres now, which I found interesting.
They're probably even, true. Yeah, you prefer them stepping up, even though they do say down the straight can be a bit more testing.
So, and then she's drawn barrier number 1 as well. So where she's sort of going to get to in the run, she's been really well backed in the early markets. The early market they completely flipped it here. She went up like $8, and so did the top weight.
$8 is too big for her. Because all the blokes who fancy themselves as video watchers you know, I've got to jump on early because they're flashing lights off the videos. They just can't help themselves. They've just got to jump straight on those things. I've got to get on these things because I was unlucky last start.
Yeah,
Now,
so
having said that, it does have talent. It did show talent for jump outs and does have nice talent.
I think she's talented as well, but they've pulled the trigger there and she's into $4.40. Commands the field, won I think a very weak sort of maiden at Cranbourne, Buston and Young, and that seems to be where they do their best sort
Home
of
track. Did run sections though.
racing. Yeah, I'd be happy enough to be against a 4-horse field at Cranbourne, coming down the straight, drawn barrier number 10 now, completely different setup for her. Argentina, she's a really well-bred filly as well. Out of Princess Cope, remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Filly, mare, who ran second to Sirmione in an Australian Cup. I think she ran third in a Caulfield Cup as well. So I think she'll be looking for further. Invincible Caviar, she just looks like a ready-made sort of 2-year-old. Put her straight up on the speed. Wouldn't be surprised if she leads. And I reckon they're just talking her down because they don't want to come out and be disappointed if she runs like the others. But I really do think at $6, this is a great bet.
Should we have a look at the replay of Sony?
Yeah, we can have a look at that.
Yeah, listen,
last
I mean,
400.
this is very hard not to be not to
Paddy
like.
Payne.
Yeah, so a red cap in the blue gets held up, and can't get clear until too late and charges. Similar run to say.
There's a big tip around for this horse, wasn't there?
Oh, its jump outs, it's sensational. Like it just trucked in its jump outs at Bendigo and things like that. It's a similar run to what's that other Set the Sail?
Yeah.
Where it just gets out late and then charges. Thing back in the insides in the race too, Sistine Explorer, she did a good job. But look at this, just lets go late. Nice horse. But it might be 12 or 1400, something like that.
And now she's going to have the different setup of potentially letting down inside of horses compared to most of her jump outs where she's been back out wide around them. Same there. So that's just a whole other ball game for 2-year-olds. I definitely think she probably is the danger. At the current prices, I'd much rather be backing Invincible Caviar. I would have marked Invincible Caviar clear favourite here, and then Sawan the danger. Interesting enough, Moon over Alice beat them all in that race, and she's here at $16. Maybe she just had the sort of favours
she
that
got
day.
a great ride off BL on that day. I think she did have the favours that day. But what I will say, Nico, is that I've noticed the last week or two that a lot of these horses, the markets the corporates are putting them up the right price. They're drifting and they're still winning. These first starters, they're saying so they're putting them up $3.50, $4 off grouse jump outs or things like this. They're drifting to $7, but they're still getting the money. So that the price you can still very much respect that initial price that goes up because it's based on some talent that's been shown. And we know that the market does different things with first starters.
They love putting up a false favourite too and playing games with the early markets. And a lot of the time when I read out the prices, sometimes I think that Sportsbet and the bigger corporates who set the markets and these robots and stuff, they make it look like every horse has been backed. So it's like one flock off here and then if you sometimes look at the market at Sportsbet a couple of days out, it's like this horse has had supports 21 to 19. Well, no, it hasn't. You guys have just played around with the flux a couple of times.
Yeah. Or there's deductions.
Yeah, or there's deductions. So you just got to be really careful. The only flux that matter is there's one horse that's been 7 into 280, like some of the things that you back, DK, or there's a big market move late in the last sort of 20 minutes.
And if they latch onto a favourite, generally everything else gets out. If there's anything unfashionable about the connections, they tend to drift. Now, the thing I just seen, the thing at Cremosa, which won race 1 at Echuca last Saturday, they've run terrific. It's like I went back and looked at all. I looked about 1 or 2 of his jump outs, and I went back and looked at all of his jump outs after it won. And it's shown talent, like really nice horse. So they put it up $3.50, ran $8 or something, and still won. Because they just hammered the favourite and things like that. So I wouldn't be scared of. You'd like to see some money for it, or Moody or someone, but you've got to back your own judgment. And Nico, you're good on the trials and everything, so.
I think that the writing was just on the wall there with just how she sort of unleashed that turn of foot that she has. And like I said, this could just be take her to the front and just see what she's got. And if she replicates what she did in the jump out, I think she'll be very hard to beat.
Fingers crossed we will be tuning into the Mounting Yard Mail and hopefully Nico's got the launch or good bet symbol next to this runner's name.
A bit harder off the sort of TV to really get too keen on them. So, just... Because you don't have as much time to look at them. Like when I'm there on track, I could look at this horse for 15 minutes. You know what I mean? Whereas on the TV, you get about 15 seconds. So different sort of situation, but I'll be having a very keen eye on how she parades for sure.
The next race we're going to have a look at is race 5, the VRC members 1400 metre race. Odds courtesy of TopSport on the screen now. Yulong, January 3, 10. Rubasaki. Surprised this one hasn't gone to the paddock or the breeding barn. Maybe if it fails here, it's probably destined to go there.
For sure.
Odeon, $6. Ocular from the Shaden Yard, $8.50. It was a bit disappointing last start, I thought, for a horse that should have won the Wangoom if it got a start there. But Yulong January, its last 400, we're going to have a look at it hitting the line last start. Nico.
Yeah, comes to this race fourth up, stays at the 1400 metres at Flemington. Mark Zahra is absolutely flying at the moment, and he seems to get along well with this horse. He beat a lot of these horses last start. He does rise a little bit in the weights, but I don't know, I'm sort of finding it hard to see a horse like Odeon at 1400 metres turning the table on him. In behind him, Reykjavik. Galaxy Raider kind of hits the line. The only real fresh blood in this race is Rubasaki, who I do think is a better horse than Yulong January at her best, but off her last run, I just don't think we can say she's at her best. She got beaten up last start by Brooklyn Hustle in that 1200 metre Proud Mistakes at Adelaide. The run prior in the Sangster was good, but I think that might have been a pretty weak Sangster this year. The market had no idea what to back. It was a bit of a lottery, bit of a raffle. She gets to the 1400 metres now, but sort of $3.70 her, given this could be absolute D-Day for her before she's off to the barn. I'm sort of not happy to back mares once they sort of taper off like she did last start. I wasn't too happy with her action either last start, so Yulong January.
She looks done.
She does.
She's not the Rubasaki of old.
She does.
What are you doing? What are you thinking?
Yeah, no.
You're looking at me funny.
No, I was just, but it's Paddy. It's Paddy,
Chinky. It's chinky.
Yeah, I know, but it's...
Paddy is a good trainer.
Yeah.
Very good trainer.
And this is last throw of the stumps, surely. Reading between the lines, this is, all right, see what she can do here, and then it's breeding barn.
Yeah, I think there's probably, if she's at her best, she can beat him. I don't think she is. And Yulong January's just going to be there. He's either going to be lead or OSL. Zara's absolutely flying. The horse, sort of when he was at his best sort of a few years ago before a few injuries, he hit form and he just holds it. He's just very consistent. And I think at $3, I'd be happy to back him. He's got the rest of them covered that he raced against
Ocular?
last start.
The boom and the rap about Ocular.
Oh,
You can't buy into it, do you?
I disagree with what you said. Would have won the Wangoom.
Well, that's what they said, but
No,
I didn't think it would. But it rated the best.
Oh.
All the ratings people said it was
the rap's huge on him.
but it was awful last start.
Disappointing last start. Weird race. Nothing really sort of let down in that straight race. The horses inside the market, none of them did anything. Romancer won it at 200s or whatever he ran around.
Yeah, that's right. Pissed him.
It was sort of findable.
Yeah, I was very sick that I didn't have anything on Romancer.
Makes me
But
Especially as a
Ocular
jump.
stepping out to 1400 probably could suit him. He's down there in the minimum, but like Yulong January's just bomb-proof. He's going to give us a great run for our money. Like I think he's definitely top two, and if he should just hold him off if Rubasaki's not at her best. So I think at $3.10, I'm happy to play there.
Yeah,
It's a bit of a tricky card at Flemington.
Yeah. Looks like rinse repeater last start for Yulong. Yep.
So if you're doing the form this week, make sure you check out puntingform.com.au. You got the 200 metre sectional split, so you know what every horse is doing, and they've got it for Australia, Singapore, and Hong Kong racing. So they've got the lot. Puntingform.com.au. Let's have a look at the TopSport big bets, and they're all at Flemington this week. We've got race 3, number 12, Chief Altoni. This was a big winner last start, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
3,000 at 290 here, now into 235. This runner.
That's a fair go.
Massive
early.
go.
That sort of early market move. Yeah, we were on him last start at Ballarat. Thought he really improved from the yard. I think he'll improve again coming into Saturday. Gets Mark Zahra absolutely flying like we touched on before. He's got a lot of scope, this horse. I think in time he'll get out over further. Alex Ray's a very good young trainer. So, 235, he's probably getting towards his right price. I thought, if I was going to sort of look away from Yulong January and probably as the best bet of the day, this horse definitely would have been right up there. If you had to give me 3 races to preview, this would have been the other one I would have had a look at. So can see why they've latched on early there for sure.
Yeah, no, very impressive last start.
Some noddies from DK. From anyone that's used to watch Frontline, DK's just giving me the noddies treatment. Flemington race 7, number 3 is the next one. Ruba 2K at $4.20 from the Alderson yard. Any thoughts there? Would you like that ticket? Not as much.
I don't know.
No, he did run. He ran good the other day. He ran better than I thought he would. But they've all been up a while. All these
The
horses
horse,
now.
he's flying, and Craig Newell's given him 3 absolute peaches his last 3 runs, and he just hasn't been able to win. I'm getting sick of these 3 or 2,000 metre races. I I backed Horrifying heavy the start sort of prior when he was no good at Caulfield. Then he come out and beat Redwood Shadow, who I backed. I thought Marcolt probably had a big chance to, second go 2,000 metres, but Redwood Shadow now gets Jamie Carr aboard. They're just a complete grey up, these staying races at the moment.
Yeah. Marcolt could be the improver there. He was out the back. He was well tried last start. Wanted from big odds in and just ended up way at the back.
Yeah, I think that was... speaking of apprentices, that was what they were finding a lot sort of 2 weeks ago there at Flemington. A lot of these races, different setup. A lot of them no claiming races on Saturday. But yeah, Marcolt was a horse that was definitely, I think he got in with 51.5, had big late closing splits, and he was off the map. So maybe something for the punters to look out there in the next coming weeks for sure.
And the other horse that's been backed early is race 9, number 12, Vegas Night, $1,013. We know about this horse, don't we?
I know him, Colin Little.
One of our mates. A horse I always find in the yard, Vegas Night.
Good type.
Real good type, just always relax. Gets Zara again. Seems a bit of a theme for the day there. And it was a good fighting win last start. Horse I'm very keen to see in the yard actually on Saturday's 5th position. Saw him first up at Warrnambool. Really wanted to find him. The market was all over him. He started like $3.60, and I thought he just walked a bit sort of funny on that day. Definitely think there could be some improvement there with his walk. Hearing some sort of chat out of the sort of people that did some form on him overseas, and that said that that's always been a sort of concern with the horse, that he's just had some issues. I definitely think he paraded like that first up, and you could definitely tell. So if he improves that sort of area of his yard and does walk better on Saturday, he'd be a horse I'd be... I'm very keen to see what he parades like, because could be a horse we could end up backing, I reckon, if he improves that.
The early market's been with him also there. 5th position's been $7 into $5. I can remember the money around for that horse as well from the Bulldozer. I think that's about a wrap from us. So we've managed without Big Red. Big Red, Johnny Walter. So stay well up there in the Gold Coast, Walt. And,
at least you're not locked down, buddy. Yeah. So there's some upside there. You're into your DQ and you're in Siberia, but you're not under house arrest like we are, basically. Anyway.
Thanks for joining us too, Nico. I know it's been a tough week at home for you, so big effort to come in today. And a big thanks to all our supporters and our fans out there. Keep the feedback coming in. And big thanks to topsport.com.au and puntingform.com.au. Couldn't do it without you. We'll give you more news about the Stradbroke Swan Hill Cup stream. At the moment, it's looking very unlikely. I won't be able to fly in the guys from interstate. It's disappointing there. We might try and do an online type stream. I'll just have to make those plans early next week. But we're doing our best to keep the show on the road here. Good luck in lockdown. Hope everyone is staying mentally fit. Make sure you check out our Bris Vegas show. Tommy Turbo dropped Vega 1 last week, courtesy of a J-Car steer. And I'll tell you what... John McLeod was desperately unlucky. He absolutely declared Sweet Deal. It got hooked back to pretty much last and second or third wide. Your man, Johnny McLeod, part-time fisherman.
Love Johnny.
He had Sweet Deal rated $2.30. $5 was available, so you got $1.90 or evens the slot. It was something
a moral beat.
The place. So make sure you tune in to Bris Vegas. It'll be out later tonight or tomorrow. And just follow us on Spotify, on our Apple, YouTube, SoundCloud, wherever you want to consume us. And good luck on the punt this week and make a killing. See you, DK.
See you, Scotty. Nico.
Thanks, guys.